Hello, how you all doing? Hope y'all having a good weekend and things been moving along for you the way you want them to, need them to, or thought they should. What's been going on with your shugs? What you been getting into? Have you gone on a trip yet for the summer? If not, are you planning to go somewhere for the summer? And if you plan on going somewhere for the summer, where are you going? Where are you going? What are your summer themes for 2024? What is it? Well, I saw, hey Ruby, how you doing, honey? I saw your comment the other week about Tony Evans probably won't allow Priscilla to lead because he doesn't believe in female pastoral leadership. And this question occurred to me about that particular issue is the following. Why do they have a problem with the gender of the vessel more than they have a problem with the behavior of the vessels who are getting hemmed up in this stuff, right? What I mean by that, you have vessels who are males and they're being caught up with extortion, embezzlement, theft, child content, adultery, violence, all of these different things. Why are they more committed about correcting, admonishing, and upholding that standard of no women leadership at all? Now, I'm not saying that women aren't capable of these things. It just seems like it is out of character and nature for a majority of the women to do the things that these men are doing, especially when they're within the confines of a system that's called the church that demand almost a level of divinity and purity from their women that they have not presented the same standard for their men. And so therefore they're constantly unequally yoked because they don't hold their men to that exact same standard. I'm just saying. So he's the one who was caught up to the point he needed to step away. Now, this is something I'm going to touch on real quick, and it does have something to do with Tony Evans as well as what is the guy name? Robert Morris. That's his name, the one that came out, and apparently he's had inappropriate relationships with minors in his early 20s. When it comes to Evans, Morris, Jakes, and all of them, it is my belief the following that one federal investigation has led to a lot of people secrets being told. Now, Whitehead was connected to and associated with for years and years and years with the pastor or Christian figure, because he's not a leader, a Christian figure who has been known to be almost like um, Lord Varys or Littlefinger on Game of Thrones. He's a keeper of secrets, and he has leveraged those secrets and indiscretions about non-Christian and Christian leadership in his favor, and it comes out, shows up in the form of money and power. He never felt the need to really be at the forefront like that because he leveraged secrets. Now, it's my belief that Bishop Whitehead, all of this started with that darn robbery that ended up being on the news. All of it. That's where it goes back to. And from there, a string of events happened, but the unraveling has been rapid. And there's a reason for it. You do not call the feds, send the feds, put the feds on anyone, and don't think they're not going to air out everyone, because they are. So this was necessary in order for this new era or new generation of who want to be the keeper of secrets, who want to be the invisible hand in the Black Christian uh community, the one who want to be the godfather, the one this is necessary. It's almost like, okay, we have to slaughter all of these people to get rid of them so that we can start this new era rising, right? With male and female Christian figures playing a role in it. And it's not just Whitehead, it's not just Morris, it's not just Evans, it's not just Jakes. No, it's including Diddy too. Diddy T was spilled in all of this as well. And I do believe that because all of them are connected to that same person. All of them. That just as Christian music has always ran, Black Christian music has always ran parallel to secular music and secular artists. And it's always been known that they kind of, when it comes to the entertainment industry, they are one and the same. Producers doing gospel albums are the same producers doing secular albums. Writers for Christian albums are the same writers for secular artists, and it's the same community. And I believe once he had the feds on him, he started telling on everyone because he's not trying to sit in prison forever by himself when he knew that he didn't do all this stuff by himself. That's just what I believe. Now, we haven't seen a whole lot of females or any females who have been hung out to dry in any of this, but I don't think that's going to last much longer either because we're about to see female Christian leader names floated around. The only thing that saved the female Christian leaders is that usually they take them out very early on because they don't like the idea of them being a woman, being black, being a black woman, you understand, and having any kind of authority when it comes to anything, they have a problem with it. Okay. And so they never get to a certain level of prestige, except, however, comma, unless they're a black female musician, unless they're a black female Christian musician. If they are, then they possibly may be hung out to dry too, because they're all in that same network. They're all in that same system, right? But I'm curious to see how much longer it's going to be before it comes out, and it is going to come out. Nobody's going to escape this. Uh-uh. No, not if it wasn't decided for them to be a part of this new era of Black Christendom, which I can't even say we've been faithful to the Black church no more. To be honest with you, we try to because we understand the greatness and amazing things that occurred within and because of the Black church. And those of us who are familiar, we have tried everything that we can to preserve the Black church, but we have to say the following, and it goes without saying, the falling away isn't because of outside of the church. It's because it was exposed why people were really, really going to church. They were going to church to figure out how to get some more money. They weren't going for a relationship. So the falling away was inevitable. I was watching Bishop Patrick Wooden's services on, I think that was sometime last week. I can't even remember. My brain is just fried right now. And I guess they're having like I guess an AIM convention or some kind of convention or something, at his church or whatever. And I was watching it. And I guess they had a pastor that came in from somewhere else, right? And of course, he spent about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes, acknowledging all the different leaders within Kojic and all the different people, sitting in the audience and stuff. And then out of the blue, he comments about how thankful he is to see all the women in the church. He said he glad he's just not looking at a bunch of men. It's good to see the women in the church. Amen. Amen. That's what he kept saying. And after saying this, I want you to go find a clip. After saying this, you can look over that would be his right. You can look over his right shoulder and you can see the faces of the men who are sitting on that pulpit when he started talking about the women. in the audience. And it was even more alarming that he then said, I want to acknowledge my beautiful wife. Yeah, way after he acknowledges his wife, way after acknowledging all of these men, acknowledging all these leaders of these different roles that are really not lofty, high roles at all. Then he acknowledges how happy he was to see all those women in that audience. Then he acknowledged some more people. And then finally, he acknowledges his wife. Why am I bringing this up? Because it goes back to that subject I just touched on about the vessels. It's not even about the gender. Let's just imagine that everyone looked like the Ken doll and the Barbie doll. No one has any genitalia whatsoever. Right. Let's talk about the vessel. And let's talk about the vessels. I'm for real. Let's talk about what kind of vessel are we dealing with. We have, let's think of it as a wine skin. You put old wine skin together with new wine skin, they just burst. It can't hold nothing. It can't sustain itself, right? It's gonna burst. It's gonna be a mess. And then you have some, it's a very good vessel, right? And it's good. But then after a while, it really doesn't serve its purpose. Then if you think about another vessel that was mentioned one time, and Jesus told them to go fill it up with water because that's what he wanted to use to perform that miracle. He wanted to use water. He wanted to use those vessels with the water in it. So the vessels had to be the type of vessels who can handle holding water, storing water. And they did that. They filled it up with water. Who knows what was in it before? I don't know. And then they come and did what he said, and he had what he needed to work with. He had it. He had a vessel that was fit for use for a miracle to be performed. And we don't have those kind of vessels right now. We don't have any vessels with living water in them right now for any miracles to take place, no matter what their gender may be. We don't have enough vessels with living water in them. And that's a problem. That is the problem. We have a lot of vessels who know the politics, they know the people, they know the titles, they know the secrets, and that's how they're functioning. That's how they're operating and governing the church. They have degrees, they have all of these things, but they don't have any living water. None. And it shows. No one's left but those who have been running and operating in that system. That's all we have left right now. I be trying to listen to him and I can't. I can't. I mean, lately, and it's scary to me because the ones I used to be able to listen to, he don't let me listen to him. It's been a while now. Then all of a sudden, there's stuff coming out about him, and it's like, oh well, it's not even a matter of, well, I knew it was something. No, it's a matter of he leading his people away from listening to people he know he got a problem with, and he knows something going on and things that they're doing that they're not supposed to be doing. And then it poses the question too that if a vessel, let's say a vessel in their personal life are not doing what they're supposed to do, or they're living contrary to the word, and they're truly operating in wickedness and darkness and all of these things, transgression, sin, iniquity, right? Does it matter to them how it invalidates the word when they are operating in those things, and why don't they understand why it's a problem? I was shocked because I listened to a part of Larry Reid's discussion on Robert Morris, and something stuck out for me about that discussion. It really stuck out for me. It was a matter of, well, it's been a while ago, and oh, the family, oh, the dad knew about it. Okay, so if he stepped away, he acknowledged it, he knew it was wrong, and it was just that instance, and then he hasn't done it anymore. Okay, I mean, he sat down for a couple years, and I was listening as he described the carnal response to when people do things like that. Okay, he got in trouble. All right, they were gonna pay her. Okay, he sat down for 2 years. Okay, and then he went on to minister XYZ 1, 2, 3. But no one seems to want to address, why was that part of his nature and where did that come from? Where did that come from and where does it come from, so that we can address it and get answers so that we can protect other people, other children now, so we can help adults now who are living with that trauma. So when we handle things in a secular manner, we never get any revelation. We never get that. We never get a new set of information to be able to properly deal with and navigate these type of situations. It never happens. We just end up doing it the world's way, and then we just go on like nothing happened. And still, there are victims who are in the past, present, and future victims that if we don't use those opportunities to get revelation from the throne, insight, some kind of tool, skill, equipment, understanding, something, then we still leave people vulnerable and we still leave people hurting. We don't have any way to properly minister to them after being traumatized in that manner. We don't have any way. We don't have any information when we keep choosing to take this analytical, philosophical approach to things. Because this stuff damages people, not just on a physical level, but also emotionally and spiritually. It alters the entire trajectory for some of their lives. Some people never, ever, ever rebound, ever. I can tell you this story that shows you just how powerful that impact is. This was some years ago, and I was inside of a store called Movie Stop. They used to sell all these DVDs and stuff. And we used to go in there every Friday and buy movies and stuff for the kids and, for the weekend or whatever. And so they have all these rows and rows and rows, right? And so this lady, this girl, she had to be in her 20s, I'd say maybe 20, 22 to 24 years old, maybe. And so there was a little girl with her. That little girl had to be maybe 5, 6 years old, 5 or 6. And so the girl, the 22, 24-year-old was walking with this guy. She came in the store with the guy and the little girl. So they're walking ahead and left that little girl where they couldn't see her, but she could see like the top of their heads. At her height, she probably couldn't see them. And so I'm coming around the corner, and this baby has pulled her entire little dress up. And the way she was moving and gyrating her body, it was in things she was doing, it was very clear that something happened to this baby, right? And so I very discreetly, uh, you know, moved fast as I could, and I came up as close as I could to the mom sideways so that this guy doesn't hear me saying this to her. Because I don't know if this is his daughter or not. And I don't know if he's the one who has done this to this child for her to know how to do that. There's no way a kid knows how to do that. No, there's no way. Okay. So, and I leaned to her and I said, "Your baby is on the out," and I described to her what she was doing. She just gasped, she turned around and she went to go get her. The thing is, I'm getting to is that this stuff is happening with kids so young, and the church's approach to it has always proven to be ineffective and has proven not to be a safe place for minors. It's not a safe place for vulnerable populations. And so, how do we get the revelation and the information so that we can change these things so that people like this mother with her child can feel safe coming to the church for answers, for resources, for support, for understanding, for healing, for deliverance, for comfort, for peace? How do we create that kind of environment? We cannot create that environment when people are so busy on focused on gender politics or focused on money. We will not be able to do these things. We won't. We're just going to keep walking around doing the same thing and not understanding what it's doing to what is happening to a lot of people. We're majoring in the minor basically as Christians in this country. It was last week that I was observing some things, and I just, in my soul, I think the best way to describe it is I just threw my hands up in the air, emotionally, spiritually, within myself. I just threw myself, in a position of, I don't know why Americans are not able to kind of look around you, pay attention around you, to understand that something is not right in this country. We are so far gone. We are so far gone in lust, it don't make no sense. There, it is off the rails, and it is not reeling itself back in no time soon. Soon. I'm seeing more articles, I'm seeing more content, I'm seeing more conversations about incest, to the point it is mind-boggling. There aren't any words for it, that I didn't realize how prevalent it was. And it's like, the nature of people has changed so much, that I don't even want to even fathom thinking what next. It just reminds me of that time when Moses went, poor Moses went up there to try to get the information from God. He just sitting there minding his business, getting the information from God, and them people are down there butt bone naked, dancing around a cow, and they got all the riches and blessings they were giving, honey, and they have made idols out of it. And I know they were doing more than dancing, based on some of the practices that were occurring in Egypt during that time. Having mass orgies and things like that were very common spiritual practices right there in the Nile Delta, and right there in Egypt. That was very common at that time. And none of their none of their deities or cults that existed, because they didn't call them sects or groups or tribes. No, they actually, individually, you had these different cultures, that followers, devotees of these different deities, and in all of their practices, and worship of them, they all entailed of sex, all of them, all of them. So when you look at historical documents, such as the actual official Egyptian Book of the Dead, you see how much those sexual offerings communicated to those deities as they're trying to transition into their other life or existence or whatever. So those things were common. And what I'm getting to is, I know good and well they wasn't just dancing around butt bone naked, around the calf. No, because they went back to worshiping the same way that the Egyptians did, those who had them in bondage. So yeah, 9 times out of 10, they were down there butt bone naked, having orgies and everything. You get what I'm saying? Because they're making offerings with their body. They're using their bodies to be actual sacrifices. That's the thing. That's the thing. That's pretty much, that's what we've turned into, in this country. That we're using all the materialism. That's not the offering. The offering is our actual physical mortal body. And it's hard, when you see that and you understand that, you just kind of resign within yourself that this is the reality. I was watching Tim Blaine, and like I told you all, Tim Blaine got all upset about spit his teeth out, fussing because somebody said something. I guess it had something to do with the LGBTQIA plus community. And I stand on my conviction that I don't consider someone a Christian if you choose to omit part of the word to satisfy a mortal man. And that's just how I feel about it. That's sincerely where I'm at right now. My convictions that I don't I don't deem you a Christian. You're not. You're something, but you're not. You don't believe in Christ. You don't believe in the word. You reject the word. So it's not just that portion of the word you reject, but you look at the rest of their behavior. They're not believers. They never were. They're worshiping of gender, sex, and identity. That's what they're worshiping. That's what they're protecting. They're not protecting the body of of Christ. They're not defending Christ. They're not defending the word. They're not defending Christianity. They're not defending God. They are defending man. They're defending man's decisions, behavior, and whatever man's doing. So that's a clear indication of who you worship and what you're devoted to, more than you are your spiritual life and your spiritual DNA and your makeup and identity. Uh, you know, People who are believers, we understand that we're born by spirit first, not by flesh first, right? And that just goes back to how much we've forgotten, how much we've lost. Um, and what do you have to gain? What are they trying to gain by doing this windmilling? What are they trying to gain? What are they afraid of? I'm gonna tell you one thing: ain't no Muslim gonna play that game with you. Jewish people neither. Hindu people neither. They these, but why are we doing this to Christians though? I don't know how many times that I had the same conversation and thought, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I have just made it back a couple hours ago. It's still pretty early in the day. Oh wow, it's 3 o'clock now. So I guess I've been in bed longer than I realized. But I tell you, this has been the most wild, emotionally exhausting experience of my life. It is, it's exhausting. I can tell you the difference with my mom. I think we're always on edge. We're so tense. Every muscle in my body is always tense because with mom, everything was just so rapid, unexpected. You're ill equipped, you're ill prepared, and it's boom, it's done, right? You only have a matter of days. And in this instance with dad, he's still here. He's still on hospice, and it's the waiting game, and for me, it's like, I don't want him suffering. I don't want him suffering. That bothers me if my dad is suffering, you know. But like they said, some people be on hospice, it can be months. It can be months on end, 6, 7, 8, 9 months. I didn't know that. I've never heard of that in my whole life. Um, and it's difficult because it's like, I don't want him suffering. I don't want him sitting here, suffering and holding on. And then another part of me is like, what is he holding on for? What is he waiting for? What is it that, you know, um, and then again, another part of me is like, well, let the Lord have his perfect will in this matter. But then again, I can't, once I do come home, even though I'm physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually exhausted, I come home, when I come back in town, I still can't sleep. I cannot sleep. I am not kidding you. I cannot sleep because I am just terrified that any moment, the phone is going to go off. In any moment, someone's going to come knocking on the door and let me know. At any moment, someone's going to show up at the house and tell me then. And so when I'm here resting, or air quotation, supposed to be resting, I am not resting, and it shows. You can physically look at me and tell you are just not good right now. So you can't go about normal day-to-day life. You can't just put it down. It's just it's just entirely too much for one human brain to comprehend. I am looking forward to going to my church tomorrow, finally getting to go and just lay eyes on everybody for a minute. And then at my church, spend time with them and stuff, because I really haven't spent any time with them since like the week after Mother's Day. Like Mother's Day was that Sunday, and then I saw them that Wednesday. And after that, I have not been back to my home church because I have been in and out of town on a very erratic schedule. So that's that. I tell you, God is so good and just in all that he's doing right now at this time. Um, and just trusting him, depending on him, and trusting his decision. But this level of tension in my sales isn't something I'm used to. It's not something I'm used to. And it's starting to make my muscles literally hurt from tension, not soreness from, weightlifting or my cardio and stuff like that. It's just painful from tension, like pinching, feeling in my shoulder blades, between my shoulder blades and stuff. So um I got to figure out something. I told my best friend, she came down last weekend, that I have to figure something out soon, like what to do. Like, do I just need to shut down shop and everything and just really probably part-time, just not part-time, but for a season, go back home until all of this is done? Because the business of things go wherever I go. It's in my head, it's in my heart, it's in me. So it goes wherever I go, you know? And it's weird. The timing of all of this is very weird, because I had just transitioned to start in, another trajectory, and another lane, another vein. I have, really, really dug my hooks into, and building, designing, formulating, preparing, and everything for it. And then this comes. And of course, everything is at a dead stop when it comes to that. I cannot put on anything new to my plate, even though I cleared everything previously. I cleared everything, closed out a few things, finished up a few things, tied up some loose ends. So I had that clearing space, to grow and expand in in that space. And now it's like, no, you can't do that right now. You do need to do this right now, right? So, oof. It's like, well, take care of this baby until it's ready. It's time for the other baby to come. Just focus on this baby. This baby is enough for now, and leave it at that. And that's tough. So I'm gonna have to figure out something. I'm gonna have to hop off here now, because this pinching tension in the back of my neck, and like right between my left shoulder blade and my spine, just feel like somebody has a clothespin right there. It hurts so bad. And then when you try to do stuff like relax, like take a bubble, my magic baths are always a win for me. A magic bath does me good. It's just Dr. Teal's eucalyptus, Epsom salt, and then the Dr. Teal's foaming bath, bubble bath, my little Dove soap, and I can just sit in there, cut the jets on, cut the lights off, just sit there 30 minutes max. And you just come out, and honey, you are a born again person in every single sense of the word. Those are not even, I can't even sit still long enough to take a magic bath right now. I can't. I can't. I don't know about nobody else, but when I get tense and stressed, I can't focus. I can't sit still. I just hop from one thing to another until I stop being so tense and stressed. But that's it. My God, Jesus be with me. All right, I'm gonna hop off here. Can't wait to read your comments. It's been good. Talk to you soon.